Good morning, guys. Good morning. Okay. I have 9 minutes to get out of here. Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. I am getting ready to get into clinical and start my clinical week. I'm really trying not to rush, but I'm always rushing. But I'm gonna do a day in my life today as a student and going through clinical and whatnot. Obviously I can't show you guys a lot of stuff from my clinical, but just my day, how my day goes and whatnot. So come along with me. I'm just doing my brows because I like to do my brows before. I at least like to have my brows done. Just gives me some personality. Because you know my whole face is like covered up throughout the day. So that's all I have. But yeah. Today is Tuesday. I have like 9 minutes before I have to leave out of this house, so I'm just trying to make that bus right now. But today's gonna be a great day. I'm claiming it. I have cramps, but it's okay. I just gotta have breakfast and then just grab some ibuprofen or something that will help my cramps so that I'm not dying throughout surgery today. But yeah, what can you do? It's the perks of being a woman, right? Such a perk. Okay, you know what? That looks fine. Alright. I need some moisturizer. Actually, I really want to tone the skin. I hate when there's a line on my stupid forehead from my hair tie. So, alright. I have to do a lot of multitasking when I'm getting dressed because, child. Okay, here's what I'm trying to fix really quick. Okay, I need this to put over my hair. That looks fine. I just need to put on some sunscreen. Face oil just to keep me like really nice and moisturized in the cold operating room. Okay. Right. Here we go. Mascara, where are you? 6 minutes, guys. 6 minutes. So this is basically my start time of the day. I usually get up around 5:20, 5:30. Actually, I get up before 5:30, so I have to be at clinical. It's on the floor at 7. So I try to get there at 6:30 just so I can eat, do my first big scrub of the day, so I don't have to worry about it at the start of the day. So that's what I like to do. But I'm in clinical Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it's 5:20 start every day. Just gotta be at the floor at 7. But I like to get there at 6:30 just so I can get breakfast and, you know, get myself together before my case starts because I hate rushing. So yeah, I would recommend doing that if you're starting clinical, like get there early. Yeah, get there early so you can settle in and you're not rushing, because there's nothing worse than rushing and trying to set up your table and stuff. So just get used to that habit of getting there at least, like, you know, 30 minutes earlier. I would need to say 45 minutes. I wouldn't say 15 minutes. I would say like 30 to 45 minutes early before your actual start time that you need to be on the floor, and get some breakfast because you need to eat. Do not go into surgery on an empty stomach. You're going to regret it. I promise you, you will regret it. And that's a very bad habit to form, is to go into surgery without any food. So yeah. All right, so I'm ready to go. So let's get out of here.
Alrighty guys, so I'm at the hospital now, and the first thing that I like to do when I get there is just go ahead and scan for my hospital issued scrubs. Because I'm going to go right on the floor, I just need to be able to have my scrubs on, because I can't go out there without hospital issued scrubs. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my scrubs from the scrub unit and go ahead and change. Now, first thing I do when I'm changing into my scrubs is I go ahead and I put my hair up first, and then I put on my surgical cap, because you want to limit the microbial count that's on your body anyways. I would say the best thing to do is go ahead and cover your hair first to get that out of the way, so that when you don your scrub top, then your like hair doesn't fall out in it or anything like that. And that's just like, again, keeping your microbial count to a minimum. So that's what I like to do, and that's actually what they taught us in school as well, to just don your hairnets or surgical cap first. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. Every morning, this is the first thing that I like to do, because like I said, can't really go out there without hospital issued scrubs. I think one day I went out without like my surgical cap, and one of my friend saw me and she was like, your hair, your hat, your hat. And I was like, okay, my bad. But so the next thing that I do is I go on the floor and I go ahead and I do my scrub. And this is why I leave the house so early, because I want to get there at least 30 minutes to spare, because I go ahead and I do my surgical scrub of the day. So I do that 5-minute water scrub. Depending on hospital facility that you are at, but my clinical site, you have to do like one big scrub of the day. They call it the big scrub, but you have to do that 5-minute scrub first thing in the morning. So that should be your first scrub of the day. So I just go ahead and I come in and I do that early, so that when it's time to actually start my case, I'm not wasting I'm not wasting 5 minutes when it's time for me to actually be in the room. I'm not wasting that extra 5 minutes scrubbing, because I can just do the waterless method at that point. So I go in early. So that's something to take in consideration, is to go in early. If your hospital like tells you need to do that big scrub of the day, then go in a little bit earlier and at least try to get that out of the way, because it's going to be very, very helpful, because you don't want your preceptors waiting for you while you're doing your 5-minute scrub, when you could have just done that earlier and you could just do the waterless method for the rest of the day. So that's what I'm doing here. And then after that, I go ahead and I have my breakfast of the day. So one thing I would definitely recommend is that you have some sort of breakfast with you first thing in the morning. The last thing you want to do is to go into a long case when you're standing on your feet and you haven't had anything to eat all day long, and you just don't eat anything. Like, that's just not good for you. Like, there's nothing worse than like not feeling well because you didn't eat. Like, you don't want to cause any problems for yourself, and you don't want the case to become about you because you passed out because you didn't eat. So make sure you have a really good breakfast. And what I'm doing here also with that book, I'm going to talk about later, but I usually try to read over my cases that I have for the day just to get myself familiar if it's something that I'm not used to. Like today, I wasn't used to vascular surgery. So I read over my case, and just like that book has all the procedures that you can literally think of. So I like to do that when I'm eating my breakfast, just to quickly go over the case and prepare myself so I can be a little bit more prepared and like know exactly what it is we're doing, and it will help like my anticipation a little bit my anticipation a little bit more so that I can be more efficient to work with the surgeon. So going over your cases is definitely something that I would recommend to do. So if you're able to pick your cases before, I would say go ahead and do that so that you can get to read up on your case a little bit before that. And then we go out on the floor, and the first thing I like to do before going into the operating room is I like to just go ahead and put on a surgical mask that has a face shield. I don't really like goggles because they get fogged up, and there's nothing worse than like, once you're shoved in, you can't touch your face, and I just hate goggles. So I use the mask that has the face shield, and make sure when you're putting on your face shield also to just make sure it's comfortable and it's sitting nice on your face, because the last thing you want to do is to forget and touch your face because your mask is not donned correctly. It's just pay attention to that. And that's the operating room. Before we get started, we're just waiting for the case to start. And that's my setup for today. I did not set this table up, but the night shift set this table up for us because we had a 7:20 start case. Whenever we have a 7:20 case, the night shift sets up the first case for us. So that case was done, and it was time for me to have my morning break. Usually I don't sit in the break room, but this morning they had HGTV on, and I really love HGTV, so I was watching that while I was having my second breakfast of the day, basically. Like I said, I keep myself very full, and I try to just eat, foods that don't make me feel sick so that I'm able to just withstand my day in surgery, and I just like to keep myself full. So if anything, I don't feel well, it's not because I didn't eat or I ate the wrong thing, so I eat pretty good food. And then I'm showing you guys here the suture cart that's in the vascular room. So like each room at the hospital that I'm at has like a suture cart either outside of the room or like in the room, and it's usually dedicated to that specific service. So like this was a vascular cart, so these are like the sutures that they usually use in vascular. And I know sutures are scary. People have asked me like, do I need to know all the sutures? I thought I did too, but you really don't, and it really comes with time for you to know. It will come like time. You will realize over time, you realize that you get familiar with some of the sutures, especially with the colors. Just make sure when you're passing a suture, you just double check with the surgeon, like, hey, is this what you need, like 3/0 Vicryl, and just make sure whatever you're passing is the correct one. Then it was time for me to go to lunch. Again, I eat very well to keep myself sane throughout the day. And then here I'm walking back to my room to go start my second case. I did not get to film any of the second part of the case, like setting up and whatever, because we were in a rush and the surgeon was like kind of ready to go, so I wasn't able to scrub back out and take a picture of that table. But it was a pretty cool case. So yeah, sometimes I like to walk around the hospital and look in like different operating rooms, see what's going on. But now it's the end of my day. That case was pretty cool. It was about 2 hours long. And now it's time for me to go home, so I do the same thing. I take off the hospital issued scrubs, and I make sure I give it back, because if I don't, then when I come in the next day and I try to get new scrubs, I won't. So I always make sure that I don't wear home the hospital issued scrubs, because if I leave them at home and I try to get new scrubs the next day, it's not going to give me any scrubs. So I always just give it back and like change, because that's just annoying to have that issue, because then I have to call one of the nurse managers to come down and get me fresh scrubs, and they don't really like to do that. I've noticed. So that's what I do. But yeah, that's basically my day. I have preceptors with me throughout every single case. I'm never allowed to be by myself, obviously, because I'm a student. So if you're starting clinical, don't worry, you'll have a preceptor. Just make sure you're not too shy and you're not too like like make sure you take the initiative and you try to do as much like first scrubs as you can do, because that's how you are going to learn. Yes, there's going to be some preceptors that don't let you like first scrub, but if you tell them like where you're at with your skills, then maybe they'll allow you to do it. But just speak up and like be confident in your skill, and it's the only way you'll learn is if you get in there and like try to do it. Even if you get an instrument wrong, that's okay. Like some surgeons, they'll just tell you that's what I want. A lot of them are nice enough to be like, hey, that's not what I asked for, this is what it is. So don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
What's up, you guys? I am back home from clinical. Today was a long day, and we had 2 cases today. So the first case, we were in vascular all day. First case of the day was a AV fistula, and then the second case was an amputation above the knee. This is my second amputation case. The last one I had was below the knee. But anyway, so the first case I did not set up myself, but I did insert a clip of the back table. I didn't set it up myself because that was a 7:20 case start, and whenever it's a 7:20 start time, usually the night shift takes care of setting up that table. So when I came in, that table was like pretty much done getting set up, but it was a pretty basic setup that I could work from. And I also did not get to first scrub that case because it was my first day in vascular, and my preceptor seemed to think that it was best if I just second scrub and like try to learn as much as I could, which is fine. I don't argue. I'd be like, okay, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. This is your game. You are the ruler. It's okay. So that's that. So then the second case, I fully scrubbed, but the second case, the surgeon was in a rush because she was like waiting for a case to start, because for some reason the patient was delayed, but it wasn't like on us or anything. Like I was already set up and she just wanted to go. And then by the time she came in, I was gonna scrub back out to like show you guys my table, but I couldn't do that because she was ready to go. So I didn't end up scrubbing back out, so I didn't get a chance to show you guys the second table for the amputation, but it was pretty basic. But yeah, so I work in a pretty busy hospital. Well, I'm a student in a pretty busy hospital, so it's like hard to film certain cases and stuff, at least setting up and stuff, because there's always like so many people in the OR, and it's like kind of awkward, like why would I have my phone out? I'm also a student, so I don't want to get in trouble or anything, so I'm very discreet in what I do and make sure like there's no patient in the room, like anything that I'm showing, it's not gonna hurt or harm anyone. So yeah, hopefully one day I'll be able to show you guys myself setting up my table, but that's just not today. But I am going to show you guys how to gown and glove, or how I gown and glove. So I have the gown here and I have the gloves. As always, you double gloves, so I have a 6.5 and a 7, and I have my little table here on top of my ottomans because I don't have a table high enough to pretend that it's my mail, so bear with me. So yeah, I have my gown here. So I'm gonna open this up on this table. Bam. Actually, let me push in a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do, so this is what your gown looks like in the pack. There's a flap that's right here. You want to basically put that flap out away from you. So first flap always goes away from you, and then you do the sides. Then this flap goes out to the side, and then this flap comes out, and then try to get the memory out of it, because if it flips back over, then your gown on the inside is contaminated. So make sure you kind of pull a little bit, not too much, but keep your sides down like that. And so now you have an open gown. And something that I definitely recommend is whatever surface you're opening your gown and glove on, make sure, try to cover it as much as you can, because that decreases your risk of contamination when you open your gloves. So I usually open the glove that's going on first. So 6.5 is my top glove, so I'm gonna open it first. Just like that. And then I'm gonna open my 7. And I would say like try to move around so that you're not popping it open on that 6.5 and then it pops off the table. Open away and wham. So now I have my gown and my gloves open, so I would go ahead and scrub. So you're gonna pretend I'm scrubbed, so I'm holding my arms out. So yeah, you want to try to grab your gown like it's a book, right? So I'm just gonna like grasp it in the middle here, and I don't need the thingy, and then I'm gonna touch it because I'm just showing you guys what to do. Okay, I would be a terrible teacher, clearly. Not in my plans to teach at any moment, so it's fine. But, so the way so if you're gowning someone, you give them the book. Like it's a booklet, right? But this is the closed part, this is the open part. So always remember the closed part of the book goes to you when you're gowning yourself. When you're gowning someone else, like the surgeon or the resident, the book goes to them. The closed book goes to them. So closed book to you if you're gowning yourself, closed book to the resident or the surgeon when you're gowning someone else. So closed book to me, I'm going to put, there's these little pockets, that's like the shoulder. That's where your hands are gonna go. So put your hands and be aware of where you're, like don't open out your arms like that because you might hit something or hit someone and you're going to contaminate yourself. So be aware of your surroundings and be aware of where you're opening out your arms. So you just want to go up and then kind of pull it up to yourself. Not all the time someone's going to be there to like tie you right away. So what I do is I go ahead and I kind of go like this and hold on. Like you can also, like you can touch your thing, just don't get your hands out of this white part. Like your hands, your fingers, you can't do this. These are not supposed to come out. So keep your fingers behind the white. So then you're contaminated, okay? You don't want that over here. So, so if I don't have someone to tie me up, so this is gonna be a struggle. So if you don't have someone to tie you up, kind of like go like that and just hold your arms like this to your side to kind of hold up your gown. And then watch your surface in front because you don't want to be like this all up on your mayo because then you're going to contaminate yourself. So he'll be a great teacher. So just hands down, right? And again, keep the fingers out of the white. Now that's where it gets tricky and why it's the hardest thing to put on your own to do close gloving because you don't have any fingers to be using, right? Let me zoom in so you guys can see more. Now, so I'm gonna grab my 7.5 first, my 7s. So you wanna grab it like so. And then the easiest way for me personally is to turn the glove upside down. So I don't know why it's easy, but it just makes sense if I turn it upside down. So as you guys can see, my gloves are upside down. That's the easiest way for me to put on my gloves. So with my hands still inside this pocket, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my right glove. You're gonna hold it like that. Fingers are still inside. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna flop it over like so, and then just pull back on your gown a little bit, like pull back on your gown to get your fingers in. And just like that. White part is still nice and high. Okay, so for the next part, now you could go in to my left glove, grab your left glove, and same thing, just flip it over like so. Bring it down a little bit and then adjust your gown. And just like that, one glove is on. So now it's easier to go ahead and grab your top gloves. And I just do the same thing. I flip it just the same. You don't have to because it's easier because now you're all sterile. But it's so much easier to just do it that way for me. So I just get in the habit of doing that. You just flip and it's on your hand. Eventually you'll find the easiest way for you. They teach you a different way in school. When I got to clinical, that way they taught me in clinical, in school did not work. So someone taught me this little trick at clinical, and it's so much easier to get your gown and glove on. Now, I don't know if that made no sense. Y'all could tell me if that made sense or not. I ain't no teacher, but I'm trying over here. So that's how you gown and glove. If you don't have someone to help you in the back right away, just keep your hands here. If you need to move about, you can. You just be aware that your gown's not fully on. And if you're by yourself and you need to this is your mayo stand, and you need to start setting up and get your mayo stand ready, just go ahead and you can toss that in the garbage, but pinch the middle of the wrapper, just pinch it and pick it up like that, and just throw it in the trash and back away from the trash. So then you can go ahead and dress your mayo stand. All right, I'll show you guys. You guys want me to show you how to do open glove technique? You really never really open glove technique, to be honest, unless you do the prepping of the patient, which I don't know if wherever you go to work, I don't know, at my clinical site I don't have to do that. So it really depends on where you are and what hospital you are in, but you rarely ever open gloves. So I would say when you start your clinicals, not clinicals, but when you start your program and you have lab, if you can take home supplies like gloves, your gown, I would say definitely go ahead and take them home so you can practice, because practice makes perfect, and you're going to want to increase that time of how fast you can don your gown and glove, especially if your case is going to start soon or something. You don't want to be fiddling with your gloves. So I would say find multiple ways of putting on, donning your gloves, closed method, and see what works best for you. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the end of this video. This is the end of my day. Usually I get home from clinical and I take a nap, or I just kind of relax, because honestly your brain needs it. After being 8 hours of clinical is such a huge learning experience. You're learning every single day, and especially with today being the first day I was doing vascular, I did have to take in a lot of information. I do have homework and stuff to do, but I like to, I get home around 4, so yeah, it's a little bit after 4 now. So I kind of just relax and take a breather, get something to eat, and then I will dive into homework and studying around 7 or so, and then I put in about 2 hours that I set aside to kind of get some stuff done, do a little bit of studying. We just got access to our certificate examination, the prep. And so I try to put in I do a few questions each night. So I'm also going to do that. But I don't like to just dive into that right away, because I feel like my brain just needs to process everything from clinical, and you deserve the break, because it's literally a full-time job, So definitely give yourself breaks and take time to, just process your day and take a nap if you need to, if you can at least. But make time for yourself and make sure you're taking care of yourself, because this It's a very stressful program, and being in the OR, it's very tense, you're very anxious, and you're like that all day when you're going. You're just kind of anxious and you're ready to go and you're nervous. So when you get home, take a breather, get something to eat, drink some water, refresh yourself, and then you can dive into homework and whatnot in a few hours. That's what I do. So I'm just saying, maybe you could do it too if you want to. You know what I mean? I'm exhausted, okay? So I'm gonna go shower. I'm gonna take a little nap. And as always, I will see you guys in my next video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about my program, any questions at all in regards to Surg Tech, just let me know. I'll be glad to answer them. I definitely did plan on coming home and going into detail about what I do day to day in clinical, but I'm super exhausted. But you know, as I was saying, I think this morning like I was saying, to just make sure that you guys eat. It's very important to make sure you eat. Make sure you wear compression stockings. Don't lock your knees. I locked my knees a few weeks ago without realizing, and I almost passed out, but I caught myself before. And what I did was I was talking to my preceptor, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." Grabbed a chair. I was like, "Stool, please." And then I put my hands in like my cool saline that was on my table, kind of cool down, and my preceptor gave me a cool towel on my neck. But yeah, don't lock your knees, because that's a terrible thing. Don't lock your knees. Wear compression stockings or socks or whatever. Find comfortable shoes. And yeah, just ask little questions. Be proactive. Like, proactive, is that the word? Proactive. I feel like isn't that like a skincare thing? Anyways, take the initiative. Let's use that word, because I swear, I don't know, I can't think. But take the initiative. Don't just like stand there and not want to like do stuff. Like, ask if you can do certain things. Like, if they're fixing a machine that you've never used before, like, ask, can you show me how to do it? I always want to know how to like work the drill, set up the drill, like put things together and things like that. Like anything that's you have to put together, and like it's a machine you're new to. Even if it's like how to change IV bags, like just ask if you can do it, or they can show you how to do it. Take the initiative, because at the end of the day, like, your clinical site, you should want to be hired by a clinical site, at least if it's a great place to work, you know what I mean? And if you're having a good time and they're nice people, so like it's a potential hire for you. So like, take the initiative and, you know, do the best you can. I would definitely say I'm going to show you guys this book. 1 second. I know I literally just said that I was ending this vlog, but I have more. Wait. But this book is going to be your best friend. I don't know if every program has this book, but this is a really, really good book. It's not too heavy. It fits in my backpack. I can walk around the hospital with it. But each morning or whenever I need to like refresh my mind about a certain case, almost every single case that you can think of is in this book. Like every procedure, equipment, supplies, all that stuff is in this book. So if you, like today, I had that fistula case. It was my first time, and everything you need is in the book. So I would walk around with this book all the time. It's always in my backpack, just in case I might need it. If I, draw a blank on something and I'm not scrubbed yet, I can look in my book and refresh my memory on what I might need and what the steps might be, so you can be a little bit more, that anticipation can come a little bit better. So I would definitely recommend this book. If your program doesn't give you this book, I would say buy this book regardless, because it is a great book to have. It's very, very, very informative. It has a lot of information. It has a lot of procedures and cases. So yeah. That is all I have for today. I have a headache, I'm hungry, and I'm tired. Okay? So I will see you guys in my next video for sure. I'm starting to see colors. Yeah. Any questions that you guys might have, just link them down below. Comment down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Go follow me on Instagram. I'm over there as well. You can go send me a DM if you want to chat. And yeah, I gotta go. Bye.